So we're going to look at multiplying fractions. Now, when we were adding and subtracting fractions, we had to make sure that there was a like denominator before we could add the numerators together. When we're multiplying fractions, we don't need to worry about doing that because the method is to multiply the numerators, or the tops of the fractions, then multiply the denominators, the bottoms of the fractions, and simplify where possible. So we're going to look at doing this with proper fractions, and then we'll have a look at doing mixed numbers in the next video. So the first example is find 3/4 times 3/5, or find 3/4 multiplied by 3/5. So we've got the rules up there in the top right hand corner. So the first step is to multiply the numerators. So I'm going to end up with a fraction. So I need to have my fraction line, and I'm going to multiply the numerators together. So my numerators are both 3, so I'm going to do 3 times 3. And then step 2 is multiply the denominators, so they're 4 and 5. So I'm going to do 4 multiplied by 5. Now 3 times 3 is 9, fraction line. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I have to check and see if I can simplify it. 9 and 20 do not have any common factors, so therefore 9/20, or 9/20, is 3/4 times 3/5 in its simplest form. So let's have another look at a new one. This time we're going to find 4/5 times 5/6. So same process. Draw your fraction line, and you're going to do 4 multiplied by 5 on your numerator, and you're going to do 5 multiplied by 6 on your denominator. We're now going to do 4 times 5 is 20, and 5 times 6 is 30. Now this we can definitely simplify because you can see that both of these numbers are on our 10 times table. So if we come down here, so we can divide 20 by 10, and that's going to give us a new numerator of 2. And we can divide 30 by 10, because remember, to make an equivalent fraction or to simplify a fraction, whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator. So 30 divided by 10 gives you 3. And so that is 4/5 times 5/6 is 2/3 in its simplest form. Now there is an alternative method, because some of you may have realized, if we go back to the first step, that we have a common 5 in our working out. So let's just write our working out again over here. If you have a common factor in any term on the numerator and any term you're multiplying on the denominator, then you can do what's called cancelling down, or you can simplify after the first step. So what we're going to do is we're going to notice that we've got a common factor of 5 here on the top and the bottom. So we can simplify that down to 1, because we know that 5/5 is the same as 1 whole. Then 4 and 6 have both got a common factor of 2. So if we divide 4 by 2, we're going to get 2. And if we divide 6 by 2, we're going to get 3. And now it makes our calculation a lot simpler, because we're doing 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 3 is 3, and you can see we get exactly the same answer, but we've just done it in a slightly different way. So the next example, we're going to find 8/9 times 3/4. So same process, equal sign, fraction line, 8 times 3 on your numerator, 9 times 4 on your denominator. So again, we're going to multiply the tops. 8 times 3 is 24. 9 times 4 is 36. Now, we want to look and see what the highest common factor is for simplifying this. Now, if you don't recognize the highest common factor, then you can recognize that they're both even numbers, and you can keep dividing the top and the bottom by 2 until you're in its simplest form. However, I know that the factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and the factors of 36 are 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9. So I have a common 12 there in both of my lists of common factors. So I can divide the top by 12 and the bottom by 12. And there are two 12s in 24, and there are three 12s in 36, and so 8/9 times 3/4 is the same as 2/3.